happened to treasonable felony? Where are those charges today?
From 2015.
They have just disappeared because they have no evidence against you. Anybody committing crime cannot go scot-free. I swear it. They cannot go scot-free. Anybody involved in any type of crime in the East cannot go free. And they're doing it because I'm in DSS. That's why if I said no idiot can try this rubbish, and they know it very well. They know it very well. And I suspect that some people in government are complicit. Yes. They are making money with insecurity.
That's correct.
They're making money with it. They know now the Kanu is outside. In 2 minutes, this nonsense will stop. Who is the idiot? Who is the bagger? Anybody involved in any form of violence or insecurity in the Southeast, in the name of IPOB, is a gun, and they know it. Let me come out of this nonsense, this mess. 2 minutes only. Only 2 minutes, I guarantee you. And tranquility. And there'll be peace in the East, not just Southeast. Everywhere in the East, if not them.
My dear President and Father of the Nation, GCFR, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I hope this message meets you well, sir. My name is Kanayo O. Kanayo. I'm an actor and a lawyer, and I hold the national honor of Member of the Order of the Federal Republic, MFR. Sir, on this occasion of my 60th birthday, I want to make an appeal to you as a son and a patriotic citizen whose industry contributes meaningfully to the nation's GDP. Mr. President, sir, this is not one of those appeals orchestrated by people to lend their voices. For it's common in our climb for people to urge celebrities and popular people to lend their voices to national issues or a growing concern. I am not lending a voice, sir. I am deeply pained by the loss of lives, wanton killings, and general insecurity in the land. The Southeast geographical zone is under siege. Someone may tell you it's what they brought onto themselves. As a son reporting to you, unofficially, every Monday is a sit at home. And every other day, Mazen and the Kanu is to appear in court. Your Excellency, Mr. President, the sit at home is very effective. Even government vehicles are off the road. Economic activities, sir, are paralyzed. Not good to be told otherwise, sir. The negative impact of this may be seen as only affecting the region. But Your Excellency, sir, it has a rippling effect on the entire nation's economy. Your Excellency, you are the father of the nation, with numerous sons and daughters, including Mazen and the Kanu. Sir, the buck stops at your table. I know and I appreciate that Nnamdi Kanu's case is before the courts, and you usually do not like to interfere with court cases. But at this stage of heightened tensions in our country, it's no longer enough to say that the matter is in court. You're a president with executive powers. My appeal, sir, Biko, release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. It's my 60th birthday appeal. Thank you, sir, and God bless you. And there will Your Excellency.
Release him. Let him go and stay with his family. This guy just fights for his people in the Southeast. Like me, I'm fighting for my people in the Yoruba land. Release him, let him go. Stop politics game. Release him, let him go home. Please, release him.
Him to be released on bail. Chapter 4, Section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution says that every person shall be entitled to freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions and to receive and impart ideas and information without interference. I therefore call upon the President of Nigeria to uphold his country's constitution, to ensure Nnamdi Kanu's immediate and safe release, as The Nigerian government must guarantee the freedom of expression of all Nigerian citizens, including their right to protest without intimidation, and end violence towards those who identify as Biafran. And I call on my colleagues here in the European Parliament to do much more to promote human rights in Nigeria.
In this case, we have not one, not two, but three separate panels, judicial panels, that have said his arrest, his rendition, and his continued incarceration are absolutely illegal. Not because it's not a good idea, not because we don't like it, not because he's the leader of our people or a leader of people that we favor. The Nigerian courts applying Nigerian law made that determination not once, but twice. And I'm here to tell you, to be kind, Nigerian courts are not legendary for their willingness to go against the Nigerian government. In fact, it almost never happens. Yet you have two court judgments. It's so obvious that said he must be released immediately. He must be returned to his place of citizenship, which is Britain, and he must be paid 1 billion naira or 500,000 naira, depending on the court.
When a child is crying and pointing the finger in one direction, it's either the father or the mother is in that direction. All of us are saying the same thing. Let Nnamdi Kanu be free. And I don't think we can all be stupid at the same time. So I want to plead, join hands with the governors of the Southeast Forum to plead with President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to do the needful.
Thank you very much indeed, Senator Obi, for joining us. I know you've got a little bit of a problem with sort of the dying embers of malaria, so thank you for taking the time and agreeing to talk to us. So you heard a bit of that clip there from Governor Hope Uzodimma, the governor's resolving to interface with the president, to use Mr. Uzodimma's words, to try to secure the release of Nnamdi Kanu. What's your reaction to that?
Thank you very much, Charles, and a very good evening to Nigerians. And I'm glad you have me on this program this evening. First of all, I must salute the candid performance of solidarity exhibited by President Obasanjo, Secretary General Emeka Yoku, the Obi of Onitsha, and the President of Ohanese in showing solidarity with the governors of the Southeast in quest of pursuing the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Various bodies have spoken in favor of his release. You will recall that Pa Edwin Clark has spoken again and again. Pa Adebanjo has spoken. The courts also spoke. Ohanese again and again has spoken. I do believe that the best interest of every and any government is where it is possible to secure peace and tranquility. And if there is anybody that will contribute immensely in securing peace and tranquility in any region or zone, our duty is to encourage to have that person play that role. More so when the issue at hand is more to do with somebody considered to be a political captive. But I'm happy also that the governors of the Southeast region finally came together, amongst other matters, deliberated on the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and have agreed to work hand in gloves in meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in resolving the issue. I must confess I have a good relationship with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I know how he operates politically. I think he listens, and I believe that he still listens. I do not see, if all these great Nigerians have come together, calling upon him as the commander-in-chief to let Nnamdi Kanu off the hook, I do not believe he would not listen to them. I believe very strongly that the president I know will listen to these great minds and let Nnamdi Kanu off the hook, so we can try and resolve the security implications in the southeast.
Right.
And
okay.
In addition to all of that,
Right.
I just want you to know that a child is crying and pointing the finger in one direction. It's either the father or the mother is in that direction. All of us are saying the same thing. Let Nnamdi Kanu be free. And I don't think we can all be stupid at the same time. So I want to plead, join hands with the governors of the Southeast Forum to plead with President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to do the needful.
Right. Thank you for that that opening sort of assessment from you. And you described Nnamdi Kanu as a political captive. Those were your words earlier. Would you say that he is now seen as more of a political prisoner than someone who is a criminal, as some have suggested, in which case, if he is a political prisoner, it would be easier to intercede on his behalf?
Well, the point of departure here is that the courts have set Nnamdi Kanu free, right? So if he is a political prisoner or criminal, then it is the duty of the court to say so loud and clear. But the Court of Appeal, in its wisdom, has said to Nnamdi Kanu, go home and sin no more, if he had sinned. But then the voice of the people, they say the voice of God. Everybody has spoken, from the east, from the west, from the north. People are speaking, saying, let him be, so that there can be some peace in that region. Recently, we saw the release of Sunday Boer. Maybe that will help the Southwest. It is believed that it will help. And we can see that some of the crises in the Southwest are reduced. So if we have such people in all the zones and we think and feel they can help the zones to get out of the state of insecurity, so be it. And I think that's really the point we're making here. I mean, Nnamdi Kanu has been in incarceration now, going to about 5 years. He should not be allowed to just go there and lavish for nothing.
Right. Well, let me just come in there because
if there is a case, if there's a case, they should go and pursue the case in court effectively.
Well, I mean,
but then he has been freed by the court of law.
Yeah, I mean, they would argue that they're pursuing the case, but as you pointed out, the court has to a large extent quashed at least some of the charges against Mr. Kanu. Do you think that gives, because oftentimes we hear the presidents, I mean, we heard Buhari say that quite a lot, that the courts the law must take its course, and the courts, it's up to the courts and so on. Do you think that quashing of some of the charges gives the president and the attorney general the legal basis for getting Mr. Kanu out that's the legal, if you like, opt-out clause that can legally justify Mr. Kanu's release?
I do believe, Charles, and I'm serious about this. If you remove that dot in the circle and you think about the urgency in putting an end to the state of insecurity in a particular zone, I believe that between the Commander-in-Chief and the Attorney General of the Federation, an amicable resolution of this matter can be achieved. And it comes to, a win-win situation for all sides. I saw a report earlier today that Mazin Nnamdi Kanu says he's willing to abide by whatever rules and regulations are given to him for his release. I'm also sure that the governors of the Southeast, working hand in gloves with Ohaneze, will be prepared to take to go into some undertakings about the situation with Mazin Nnamdi Kanu when released.
Right. Well, I'm just going to come in there briefly. How do we know, Senator Obi, that Nnamdi Kanu still has the capacity to rein in his followers and members of IPOD? Because, everybody keeps saying that if he's released, it will lessen insecurity in the Southeast. He could potentially have lost his place in the movement, and therefore any any clout that he can wield in terms of influence may not be there anymore.
Well, I happen to know that when the President General of Ohaneze, Chief Engineer Emmanuel Iwayo, was going to visit with Nnamdi Kanu, he had called me to accompany him, but unfortunately I was not in the country, so I did not accompany him. I couldn't accompany him as a result of that. But like I said, when a child is crying and pointing the finger in one direction, it's either the father or the mother of that child is there. So when everybody is saying, let Nnamdi Kanu be released, be put out of the hook, so that there can be a decrease in the insecurity in the Southeast, they cannot all be saying something wrong. There must be something what they are saying and what they are seeing.
Right. So you don't.
It's not that Nnamdi Kanu. It's not that Nnamdi Kanu 100% will solve the state of insecurity in the Southeast, but he will contribute immensely.
Right. So you don't
in
think
resolving
that
the state of insecurity.
Right. You don't think that the converse might be the case, and we're just playing the devil's advocate here. You don't think the converse might be the case that his release might serve to reinforce the ideology of his followers and perhaps reignite their secessionist agitations?
Well, Nnamdi Kanu is human. He has gone through these years of incarceration, and I'm sure it's a lesson. I'm also sure those who are agitating maybe are doing so still because Nnamdi Kanu is still under incarceration. By the time we all agree and work together and we'll have all hands on deck and we are all on the same page, it surely will be an easier approach to the problems. But since we are singing from different directions now, that's the problem. So I believe in moving forward, let us all be on the same page. Let us agree with what the elder statesmen have said from across the country. Let us agree with what the Pandef, Afenifere, Ohaneze, and the Southeast Governors Forum have said. and walk in that direction.
Right.
Let's give it a try.
Right. And I presume that's what they're trying to do. But talking about those Southeast governors, is it your sense that they have the negotiating capacity and the clout? Because I mean, this is now. I mean, they're trying to put it basically at the foot of President Tinubu. Is it your sense that they have the negotiating capacity and the clout to really move this issue forward and get it to the top of the president's in tray?
Well, I believe that having reached this point where they have made this pronouncement and knowing full well that the Southeast has been saying the requesting for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, they are governing us. They are our governors. They are not an island unto themselves. Some of us have direct links and contacts with them. So we believe that now that they have come out to make a specific demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, we all must work together, hands in gloves with Ohaneze, which is the governing body of Ndibo home and in diaspora, to do the needful. And to believe that Nnamdi Kanu too, as the true son of Igbo land, will listen to what the leaders are saying and also join us in doing what is right. What is important and very, very key is that we need to address the state of insecurity in the Southeast. And in addressing the state of insecurity, from my own knowledge and experience, means that we all have to be on the same page. That is the bottom line.